Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 4 of the Just Interesting podcast, the weekly show where we talk about things that we find, well, just interesting. This week on Season 4 premiere, we will be talking about the royal family, inspired, of course, by the recent passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. We wanted to chat about some of the unusual and hopefully interesting facts you may not know about the royals and speculate as to what will happen now that she's no longer with us. And rudely interrupted in my intro, that was Martin. Martin, how are you today?
Inspired by that same French excellence.
Poor choice of words.
I'm a little bit off the deep end, mate. That sounds like I'm having a bit of breakdown. I'm not. I'm just quite tired. There's been a major US sports event over the last couple of weeks that I've been working on, and of course, it's in a different time zone. So now, forgive me if I'm a little bit all over the place.
This is breaking news.
Yeah, I'm all good.
This is breaking news for many of our listeners. They're going to speculate wildly that you are now a world-class sportsman. You've been working hard on a sporting event recently, Martin.
It's true. Martin is...
And
Robin, I missed that last bit, Robin.
I did miss that last bit as well.
A ball boy.
A ball boy, yes, that's right. Yeah, ball boy.
That was worth waiting for.
You know we're live because the signal's going to drop in and out between us, so this conversation is going to be a little bit bitty.
Robin, how are you today? What's going on?
How am I today?
It feels so long since we've chatted with you boys.
It's been a while. We had a little bit of a break as we kind of geared up for this hopefully extra special and exciting Season 4. You may notice some changes, which I'm sure Alex will guide us through lovingly. Lovingly? In a lovely way, I should say. And lovingly, let's be honest. Alex loves doing it. But yeah, it has been a while. It's been ages since the three of us are in the same virtual room together. So it's glad to be back and discussing something very interesting.
Yeah, it's sad, but hopefully it's got some interesting facts this week for everyone out there. But you are quite right, Robin. Season 4 means that there will be some changes. Martin will be sending me the trophy immediately. No, I mean, that's never going to happen. And that ship has sailed.
I mean, that's one thing that still has not been sorted out ahead. We had a break, but that still hasn't been fixed.
It's in the post. We just need to send off to the postman and ask him to attach your address to the envelope when you send it through.
You know my address. You know it.
I have no idea. I don't even know which country you live in right now.
You're just trying to go do sharing your address live on the air. Don't do it.
Well, look. Okay, so one addition that I thought would be very fun this season is how about we start every podcast with a riddle? You know, I thought it would be nice to mix it up, try something new. So here's your riddle for this week. And if you guess it in the comments, then what should I say? Yeah, well done, I guess. But Martin and Robin, you have until the end of the episode to tell me the answer.
Oh, you're not going to tell us the answer till the end of the episode.
I'm not going to tell you the answer till the end. So stick around. If you don't know what the answer is, stick around to the end to find out. So your riddle this week is... If
someone gets it, do you say that they've got it live, or do you just leave it until the end?
I'm going to leave it to the end. I don't want to draw attention to it.
Leave it to the end. Yeah.
I would kindly ask if you do get it in the chat, in the comments. Maybe keep it to yourself for a little while. That'd be good. But
don't Google it. Don't Google it.
Don't Google it. Don't Google it. Don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Okay. So your riddle this week is this: what occurs once in a minute, twice in a moment, and never in 1,000 years? I'll say it again. What occurs once in a minute, twice in a moment, and never in 1,000 years? You have until the end of the episode to give me the answer. And before we move on to the next thing, which is This Week We Learned, where we discuss some of the interesting facts that we learned this week, I would just like to say, if you're listening to this on a podcast platform like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, did you know that we host these podcasts live over at Just Interesting on YouTube? I mean, you probably guessed it by this point into the podcast, let's be honest. But come and chat with us live every Monday, and this is news for you in the chat. We have a new regular podcast schedule. It's there. We've put it out there now. We can't take it back. But Mondays, 9 p.m. BST, you can catch us live on YouTube every week. So come and join us over on Just Interesting.
We've committed now.
We've committed. We can't undo it. You could be as cool as Spiffing, Aaron Lee, Angelos87, who are in the chat with us right now. And we haven't even addressed the chat this week so far. So Spiffing says, looks like I got out the shower just in time for the podcast. Welcome to the chat, Spiffing. Nice. Aaron Lee's in the chat as well. Oh, sweet. Yes, oh, sweet indeed.
Oh, that's a comment. I thought you were reading out somebody's name. I was like, that's a great name.
That's an enthusiastic reading name.
Being greeted like that everywhere you go. Oh, sweet. It's you.
Ethan Walker says, great to catch the live stream. God save the king, which still sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? It hasn't quite sunk in yet.
Yeah, the national anthem will be strange, won't it? Events. Sporting events or whatever else. What they do with the coins, I imagine that would take a bit of time, won't it?
Presumably they'll phase that. Yeah.
I mean, it's in some ways you're like, well, he's fairly. How old? Charles?
73.
Yeah. Maybe just hold off on the coins for a couple of years.
Martin.
Let's just see how he gets on.
I mean, it would solve. Sorry to interject, Alex. I know we're still greeting people in the comments. I was saying, but the coinage problem, having to change it all to put Charles's head on the currency instead of the Queen's, is a golden opportunity to fix our cost of living crisis. There's no inflation if you have no money, people. Let's just recall all the old money and just not give anyone any more money, and then say money is not a thing we're doing anymore. Everybody can just barter. Just take your rice for a kiss. Who knows? Whatever you need to exchange it for.
I mean, honestly, when was the last time either of you had any change? I don't have it. I don't do cash payments anymore. I can't remember the last time I had cash in my wallet.
I have some change actually in my wallet right now.
I'm a huge drug dealer, so I only have cash.
I only deal in cash. No, I have some in my wallet right now, but purely coincidentally because I went away the other week. In our 2-week break, I was away and found myself in a town where everything shuts at about 6 o'clock. There was nothing except some stalls which were serving food, and I was hungry, and it was about 10 o'clock at night, and they were like, cash only. Like, what do you mean cash only? In this post-pandemic world, you don't have a card reader? So in my slightly drunken state, I had to go get some cash out from the one cash machine in the town and get some change. So I had that
exact same reason. Yeah, local takeaway, cash only, probably tax reasons, let's be honest. And any change you get, I don't even have a change compartment in my wallet anymore. Don't bother with that. So whenever I have any change, I put it in there. I always end up pulling my wallet out of my pocket upside down. Everything falls out on the floor. I'm like, oh, this is rubbish. So pick up the bits that are worth picking up, I pick up, and just put in a money box for Clara. Done. Yeah,
that's good. Someone was trying to tempt me to get one of these new slimline wallets, which they have the advantage, because they're slim. And they were saying, oh, I should get one of these. And I said, oh, what do you have? And they got theirs out and they were showing me, and just like, this is a slimline wallet. You could have this. And I was looking at it, and I was like, there's no pockets in that. It's a slimline wallet because you can just one card in it. What's the point of the wallet? Just carry the card around. What the hell is that?
Robin, anyway, I want a whole channel now. A whole channel, or at least a video content strand of you reviewing wallets.
Every wallet in the world.
There's no other extra compartments in this. No extra compartments at all. 1 star. 1 star.
What is this?
Where do I put all my drug money?
We were thinking of doing a ranking and rating kind of show, weren't we?
We were actually, we were contemplating. So
2 things today. So Robin, you're gonna be rating wallets, and then earlier on, I watched a little bit of Muppets Treasure Island. So I was thinking of ranking the Muppets movies.
That's a great.
Do you fancy doing that?
One,
I love the Muppets. 30th anniversary of Muppets Christmas Carol.
Is it really?
Yeah. Have to watch it a bit earlier this year. But look, fellas, we're not here to discuss wallets or Muppets. We are.
It's exactly what we're here for.
We are here to talk about the royal family. But before we jump into that, I'm a bit scared to ask, but what have you boys learned in our break that we've had? You've had several weeks. It better be absolutely something tremendous. Robin, what have you learned?
Well, I was reading a book. Yeah, drop me, please do. I was reading a book, which is an enjoyable book by the author John Buchan. And I was looking up the author John Buchan and finding out about his very posh upbringing and his friends. And one of his friends, upon whom he based one of his recurring characters in his books, was a man called Aubrey Herbert. Aubrey Herbert was kind of a very adventurous type. He traveled around the world. He particularly was in love with the Asian Orient and learned loads of Asian languages. And he was actually the younger half-brother of Lord Carnarvon of Tutankhamun fame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Aubrey Herbert had really bad eyesight from a very young age. In fact, he was known or teased for being effectively blind when he was at university. And by the time he was about 40, he was virtually completely blind. His sight degenerated over his lifetime. But despite all this, he traveled around the world. And in his travels, he got really passionate about Albania. And at the time, this is the early 20th century, Albania was in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, I think. It wasn't independent anyway. And he became a big advocate for Albanian independence. So much so that during the First World War, when Albania did finally achieve its independence, they asked him to be their king.
What?
And they asked him not once, they asked him twice. Because they asked him, he said no. They got a king. The king was no good. They got rid of him, and they asked him again, and he said, no. But
this is ridiculous. I can't just be your king.
But he was dissuaded from accepting the offer of the Albanian throne by a family friend, Prime Minister Herbert Asquith.
Right.
And this is what you can do when you're well connected and have a silver spoon, despite being almost blind.
So the prime minister. So the prime minister dissuaded him from becoming king of Albania. Do you think he was just a bit jealous because he couldn't go? He was only prime minister, and he was like, "Oh no, don't take king. It'll be rubbish. It'll be rubbish. You don't want that."
That's the only reason, because otherwise it's a golden opportunity, right? For having a friendly nation in Eastern Europe. You're like, yeah, one of my friends is the king.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why would you turn that down?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
If you
it definitely also shows the value also of connecting yourself to a quite niche, but worthy cause, doesn't it? To advocate for a particular cause that's niche, but you can get to the top of that tree quite quickly.
Yeah.
If Albania suddenly got in touch with either of you two and said, Robin, Martin, we want you as our next king, what would you say?
Oh no, and I'll tell you why. I believe, at least from lots of the CSI programs that I've watched, Albania has quite a notorious crime syndicate thing going on. So I'm not so sure I want to get involved in that. And but this outside of becoming the king, I'll be target number one, and have I'll be marked man, and so I wouldn't want to die at the hands of Albanian mafia. So no, I'm afraid I'm going to have to turn this down.
Okay.
I think I'll have to try Albanian food before I make a decision.
But you'd be the king, so you could have whatever food you want. You could change the national cuisine to whatever you want.
But then I'd have some kind of... I feel ethically compromised if I, as king, made them change their culture, to suit me. That seems a bit wrong.
That's nice. I'd say yes immediately. Yes.
Of course you would.
But Albania definitely, in terms of like mafias, it definitely pushes above its weight. Like, you'd expect like Mexican cartels and others to be right up there, but Albania mafia is quite a big thing.
Who do you think wants me?
This episode of Just Interesting is sponsored by the Albanian mafia.
They're a little bit lower than the Mexican, a little bit lower than the Italian mafia, but they're right up there. And so I'm really not sure you want to get involved in that, Alex.
You're going to be ranking history. You're going to be ranking all the Muppets films and all the world's mafias.
All the world's mafia.
I'll stick to the Muppets. I think it's just safer, isn't it? It's just safer all round.
Well, thank you for
Muppets or mafia. Martin's new strand.
Thank you for that, Robin. That was a really interesting fact. Martin, can you top it?
Yes. No.
Oh, okay.
But I'll try.
Right.
So, do you have a dominant eye? This is the question.
Yes.
Okay. And in what way, Robin, is your eye dominant over the other? And which one is dominant? That's just my question for you and for everyone at home as well. Yeah, give it a go. Have a look. Which eye is better?
I think... Oh, crap, now I'm not sure.
It's been so long since I've had an eye test.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Yeah.
one's blind. Oh, okay. Well, I should have,
Oh my
should have
gosh.
spotted
Oh my
that.
But I did this as a teenager. I tested it once, lying in bed, looking at the ceiling, trying to figure out which eye was dominant, and I can't quite tell right now. I think it might be my right eye is dominant, and it tells the other left eye what to do.
Well, that little bit at the end there is actually really, really interesting because most people have a dominant eye. Like most people in society have a dominant eye, but it's not just down to your vision. It's down to a few other things as well. So there's sight dominance, which is like the main one, right? One eye is a bit better than the other in terms of your vision. But there's also what's known as motor dominance. So the way in which the eye is less likely to lose fixation on a certain point. So there's the motor dominance of a particular eye, and there's also sensory dominance as well, referring to the eye that has a stronger vision than the other. So there's the preference of one eye over the other when you're looking at a target. There's one that's more likely or less likely to lose fixation on a point, and then there's sensory dominance, which is basically having stronger vision. So there's different types of dominance for your eye. It's not just about one being just stronger in terms of your sight than the other. So I thought that was pretty interesting that most people do have it. And the other thing that's pretty interesting about this is that it often matches up to your handedness. So if you're left-handed, you're more likely to have a bit more dominant left eye, and vice versa, which is pretty interesting. So the way in which our brain relays information from our eye, it relays it more accurately from one eye than the other.
So I'm left-handed.
That's really interesting.
I'm more likely to have my left eye to be more.
You're more likely to be. You're more likely. That's more likely to be the case.
Oh,
you're also more likely to be executed in witch trials, Alex. So I'd keep that down.
Well, you're outnumbered here, Robin, because me and Alex are both left-handed.
Oh, I knew there was something wrong with this podcast. Right, I'm out, guys. I'm calling the Exorcist, and I'll see you both in jail.
See, if you were left-handed as well, Robin, we could have called the podcast "Three Lefts Don't Make a Right."
Yes.
Oh, what a great name for a podcast.
Or we could call it like Left Eye.
We could call it Two Lefts and a Right.
Left Eye. Left idea. Then it sounds like it's an
in fairness,
left-wing podcast.
Yeah, all of this sounds like we're doing some kind of political podcast. Martin,
two left and the right does actually match our political persuasions, doesn't it?
I'm a bit distracted, Martin, because you have absolutely frozen.
You have
for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
You've got a very chilled out expression on your face.
Yeah, it's frozen on a wonderful screen.
It's a lovely screenshot.
It's kind of sultry, actually. Like it's a bit of a come hither expression. Yeah, it's quite nice.
Yep. Okay, screenshot. I don't quite know how to fix that. I mean, I might have to jump off and on again, perhaps.
I think Ethan Walker in the comments said, "It's amazing how Martin can speak without moving his mouth." It's true. Martin is actually a ventriloquist.
Yes. Would it be best for me to jump off and jump back on again?
That's fine if you want to do that.
No.
Okay. See you in a second.
Is it? Okay. Well, isn't that going to mess things up?
It will very briefly, but not in terms of speech.
Oh, it's only the start of season 4. It doesn't matter.
It's
fine.
It's fine.
Okay. Alex and me are going to pretend like... I know. We'll keep talking because people listening to the audio version of this won't mind. So Alex, tell me, what's your fact of the week? What have you learned?
So it's on the theme of the royal family still. Much like yours was as well, Robin, in a way, or royalty.
It was actually. There was a royal connection.
Was that intentional?
It wasn't actually, because I read that before Queenie died. But now you mention it, yeah.
Here he is.
But yes, please go on.
He's back. Oh, I missed the previous expression. Do it again.
Sorry.
So yeah, my fact this week was that, and I only knew this week. Found this out. But the Queen's famous corgis can all trace their lineage back to the first corgi she received or she was gifted on her 18th birthday by King George VI.
Really?
Yeah. There's a whole family tree that goes back to this corgi called Susan. And there's a whole family tree here. And the Queen also, I'm getting the main topic started a bit earlier, but she's said to have founded her own breed of dog called a Dorgie, I think it is. A Dachshund Corgi mix.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Because there are some of those in this.
That would explain why her corgis
tree.
seem smaller and slightly squatter than corgis I've seen owned by other people.
Possibly, but I mean,
yes.
The majority of her dogs are Welsh Pembroke corgis, but
Yeah.
there were a few in this family tree that were dorgies. But yeah,
Right.
there are some interesting names. So Susan was the mother of Sugar and Honey. Sugar was the mother of Sherry and Whiskey. Honey,
Oh, nice. That's good.
Honey was the mother of Bee, who was the mother of Heather and Buzz. Heather, who was
What
the
mothering
mother
going on here?
of
Sounds a little bit
Foxy and Tiny.
incestuous.
It's very incestuous, much like the royal family themselves. One would like the dog's lineage to mirror one's own family.
Now we are being
Is that too
respectful.
soon?
Is that
That feels
disrespectful?
too soon.
Yeah. Is that too soon?
Across the
Sorry.
line. There are some,
Sorry, everyone.
There are some weird names in here, though. One of which is called. This is the name of one of these dogs, which I'd feel a bit sorry for. Windsor Loyal Subject. It's just the name of the dog.
Seriously?
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit like they got like I don't know, a memo, and accidentally they got transferred over to the dog.
I was wondering if it was in Crofts or something. Like there's a.
It could be. Although, you know what Windsor Loyal Subject kind of abbreviates to quite nicely? Wills.
Wills. Yes,
Wills.
yeah, nice, yeah. Royal
Very true.
royal connection. Very good.
So long before William and Kate got hitched and became cool and known as Wills, there was a dog.
Yes. Very
There
good.
you go. There you go. Well, those are the facts that we've learned this week. But as always, let us know what's the most interesting fact of the week that you've learned this week. Feel free to share it with us in the comments or on Twitter. I'm at JustAlexing.
I'm at all time Robin.
I knew it. I knew
it's gone wrong. It's gone wrong.
Oh dear.
You two.
Dear.
I can't take you anywhere.
Forget it.
Okay, Robin, if you want to promote yourself, you can go first.
No, I insist that Martin goes first.
Oh my.
Mine's at Mart Interesting.
And I'm at all time Robin.
Or you
Okay.
can message us
Okay.
directly at JInterestingYT on Twitter. So, fellas, shall we discuss some interesting facts about the royal family? But before we get started, I just want to emphasize how weird this week has been. When the news broke, and just talk about like what your initial reactions were when the news broke on Thursday of the Queen's passing. To me, this was like, I don't think there was a more famous person currently alive, right? Like, I don't think there ever will be.
That's a good.
I don't think we will ever, in our lifetimes, have someone this impactful die again. What do you think?
Maybe, I imagine there'll be some more shocking deaths, but I imagine that this one, it wasn't exactly a surprise, was it? It was like the Queen. Yeah, when I looked on my phone and it said the Queen is all of her family are going to Balmoral. It's like, okay, right. Well, we know what's going on here then.
Yeah.
In fact, part of me thought that she probably already had died when that news came through.
Yeah. Almost certainly they would have announced it a few hours after the actual passing. Yeah.
And so it wasn't a shock. It was like, she's 96. But yes, in terms of like the impact that it's, I suppose I was going to say the impact it's had on the country. No, the impact on people's, there's a lot of affection in this country towards her, regardless of what people's thoughts are on the royal family as an institution, I think.
Yeah.
And so a lot of, it's the biggest news, isn't it? It's the biggest news there could be in the UK, really. In terms of impact on society and how much like a shock it was, it wasn't that surprising, was it?
Do you think, though, that the Queen, and this goes out to the comments as well, do you think that the Queen was like the most well-known person on the planet? Because I would say, no matter where you are in the world, you know who the Queen is. Like, even if you have your own Queen in your country, like, I feel like just saying the Queen, you kind of think Queen Elizabeth II.
Yeah, and there's a huge number of countries where the Queen has a big popularity, even though they're not even members of the Commonwealth. They're independent nations with their own democracies, but they have big passion for the royal family. And of course, as the head of the royal family, the Queen, it was the most popular and most well-known. I think you're probably right. I think she was probably, and therefore still is right now, the most famous person on the planet. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, I do agree, Martin. Like, she was 96 years old. Didn't really come as like a shock, but in a way it did, because at this point I'd become convinced in a way that she was eternal and was never ever going to leave. I think what
Never going to leave.
never going to leave. I think
Like,
what put it into perspective for me, like how long she'd been queen. Weirdly, it wasn't the whole that she's the first prime minister she, what's the word, welcomed was Winston Churchill. It wasn't that. It was the fact that James Bond has always been on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
That is true. Yes, that's true.
That's so
good
weird.
point.
So bizarre.
Yeah, now
Yes.
he's going to be. Gosh, I hadn't even thought about that, Alex. That's a really
His
good point.
Majesty's-
His Majesty's?
Yeah, on His Majesty's
Yeah.
Secret Service. That's a weird thought. Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, and it probably will be for the foreseeable, won't it? Probably
Yeah.
for the whole of our lives. Crazy.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Someone in the comments earlier, I think it was Graham Nicol. I think.
Yeah.
Apologies if I'm calling you out. No, it was. Graham Nichols said, just my view, Prince Charles shouldn't be our king. William should be. And
That's not how it works.
it's not how it works, unfortunately. But it's an interesting thought, though, because I read a few years ago that William and Kate were next, like after the Queen, the most well-liked royals.
Yes. I think
by
that's
quite,
true.
they
quite
are.
a
Yeah.
sizable
Yeah.
margin.
Yeah. Everyone else has got their bag of bones, haven't they? They've got their bits and pieces, skeletons in the closet,
Mm.
whatever it is, reasons for people not to like them, whether they're valid or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think
Yeah.
that?
I mean,
That's true.
yeah.
Sorry, no, go on.
No, I was just going to say, as a cynic, I bet that people would feel differently about William and Kate if they're about 25 years older than they are now.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, I think maybe that positive attitude was kind of like right after the royal wedding with William and Kate. I feel like their popularity was.
Oh, Kate
an
Middleton
all-time
deserves a huge amount of credit for rehabilitating the image of the royal family in the public consciousness, I think. Yeah.
high. Yeah. Do you think she's doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the PR battle?
Yeah, not entirely deliberately. I think just by existing, she was an unknown quantity. She was young and beautiful, and people were like, yeah, she's really popular. And she's done a terrific job since entering the royal family at keeping herself clean and nice.
Not dressing up as a Nazi.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
yeah.
Like she could literally do nothing and she would be outperforming the rest of the royal family combined, I think.
Yeah. You go through them all. It's like, oh, yeah. I mean, no one's perfect, but there are a few bits and pieces, aren't there?
Yeah.
What's Prince Edward done? Has he done anything weird?
To my knowledge, no. I think he's all right. He's got a good reputation. I mean, in terms of the problem is people don't really think about him. That's why he's not more popular, I think, because they kind of keep to themselves, which again is another reason to like them, I think. To like Edward, because he kind of keeps to himself. If anybody knows anything. Did you really?
Did you? Why?
He came to my school one time and he was opening a new building at my school and they were walking around some classrooms and he came into our classroom and he was asking me what I was working on. And,
what were you working on?
Just a bomb. It was just a big bomb. No. No, it was an anti-smoking awareness poster that we were doing in psychology. I don't know why, but
right.
This was your secondary school. For some reason, I was expecting it to be your junior.
No, it was a secondary school. I remember it quite vividly. He seemed very chill. In fairness, he seemed like he'd done so many of these kind of things, and he was just not taking it seriously. He was like gushing about a bit.
Yeah, he was there. He was there, pack of fags in hand, lighting up during this anti-smoking campaign.
This works. Yeah, exactly.
So why is this bad? Why is this
Andrew
bad for me then?
at school?
You met Prince Andrew. Did he touch you?
Oh, both of you, don't lower the tone. Come on. You didn't actually meet? Did you actually meet Prince Andrew, or is this a bit?
Yeah, I did. That's actually a true story. I was at primary school. Yeah, he like you, he came to open a building, but it was Prince Andrew. Yeah, he flew in on his helicopter. I was in the class of year 5s, I think, that was chosen to line up and greet him. Yeah.
I'm really sorry, Robin. I was just expecting a punchline there.
Sorry to disappoint. There is actually no punchline.
I think you held back.
Prince Andrew.
I think you held back. I'm pretty sure you held back there.
I didn't.
The class lining up. Come on.
I mean, I was tempted to say something, but then it's not fair to make light of that kind of thing.
No,
when there
of
are
course.
people
I
who
should
actually
have
do
said
suffer at the hands of
yes, you're right.
people who are accused of doing things that Prince Andrew's been accused of doing.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And he should be held accountable. Let's be honest,
So,
regardless of status or power.
That's a topic for another podcast episode, maybe.
I think it definitely is. But did you have any interesting, unusual facts that you'd like to share about the royal family?
If we both said no right now, that'd be really awkward.
Done. Yeah. I finished. So,
go on, Martin.
I was going to say there were 15 prime ministers during Queen Elizabeth's time on the throne. 15.
15.
Pretty mental, isn't it? Pretty crazy.
Wow.
Considering on average that 4 years the term.
Imagine if Prince
done a lot
Charles
to
keeps
make
that ratio. But he's 73, so he'll probably have a 20-year reign.
In fairness,
Imagine if he has the same ratio of 15 prime ministers.
at the rate we're going, I'd
Yeah.
be surprised.
The way
to
they
be
get-
honest.
Yeah, the way they get through them nowadays, yeah. 15, yes, 15. And the first one, of course, as you mentioned, being Winston Churchill, who was roundly thought to be her favourite prime minister. Maybe helped her in her younger years,
Yeah.
all good there. And of course, Liz Truss being the latest, who some people say killed her off.
I mean,
In between that time, she met all of these different prime ministers. And of course, when we look at the presidents on the other side of the pond, there were a number. I'm just going to get the exact number up. There were.
I think it was just under.
Recently.
Wasn't it?
must be close, actually. Yeah.
It was
Yes,
maybe
I had it, and I've just
40.
closed the tab. Anyway, but there were a number of US presidents, similar number of US presidents, and she only didn't meet one of them. Can you guess which one she didn't meet?
Ooh. Which one didn't she meet? Well, she
She-
definitely met Kennedy.
Did you meet Jimmy Carter?
Yes.
So I'm
Okay.
going to bet I'm going to bet it was someone early in her reign.
So she met 13 out of 14.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So they're actually we haven't had that many more prime ministers than presidents. That's funny. I'm going to guess Eisenhower.
No,
Oh, she met him.
she met Eisenhower.
Okay.
It
Um,
was.
I kind of want to have another guess.
Oh. Okay, have
Um,
another guess.
Was it George Bush Sr.?
No, it wasn't George Bush Senior. It wasn't. She even recently met Biden. It was Lyndon B. Johnson.
Oh, really? Didn't meet LBJ?
And
Huh.
it just never happened. They never ended up meeting.
That's kind of funny. Yeah.
They
Yeah, so
arranged
she
it, but-
hosted.
They arranged it, but Lyndon be late.
Uh,
that wasn't anything. That was terrible.
That wasn't it. I don't really understand it.
Yeah.
So after Kennedy was assassinated, the Queen didn't go to the funeral. Prince Philip did. So I imagine that Lyndon B. Johnson was there, and they met. Those guys met.
Right. Yeah.
But the Queen never did, and then she hosted Nixon in Buckingham Palace in 1969, but never met Lyndon Johnson. So there we go. Never met LBJ, the big man.
That's surprising. Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hmm.
Robin,
Oh.
did you care to regale us with any?
Yeah, I
facts?
was surprised to learn, and I learned it after the Queen died, that, okay, actually, this is a question. I'm going to pose this as a question. Can
Yeah.
you guess, and please do, if those watching us live on the YouTubes, if you want to comment in the chat the answer to your question, it's the closest wins. When do you think the Queen sent her first email? What year? I'll take a year.
First email.
I mean, I could go boring, couldn't I? But it's going to be something notable. She's going to be an early adopter.
Yeah.
She's going to be early on it. So
I
she's going
think
to
so,
be.
yeah.
When did email come out? God, I don't know, 93. Is that
Okay.
too early?
93, no, go for it.
I'm going
Oh,
to
I'm
go
gonna-
earlier. I'm going to go 91.
Well, it was on the 26th of March, 1976.
Oh, wow.
What? No.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Amazing, right? And it was sent
76.
to the US Secretary of Defense.
I think Jim,
that's crazy.
Jim Dore in the comments got closest that the 1979.
Oh, very
pretty
close.
good.
Very
That's
close.
pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. No, apparently the first ever email was sent in 1971, which is something I also didn't know.
In fairness, yeah,
But yeah,
I
the-
wouldn't have guessed that. That's pretty remarkable. Wow.
Yeah. On the similar tech thing, there was a kind of a website doing a long list of facts about Queen Elizabeth II. And they phrased the fact in a weird way that I haven't actually checked how to actually understand this fact. But the fact is that Queen Elizabeth II launched Buckingham Palace's first website in 1997.
No, she didn't.
And I'm like, how did she? Like, what did she cut the red tape around the computer? Like, what did she do to launch? She did it. Yeah, she launched it. Like, what does that even? That's not a thing.
That's just like what's the movie with oh god, what's his name? The dude who ran over someone in Northern Ireland, killed Matthew Broderick. What's that film with Matthew Broderick? War Games. War Games,
yeah.
With the hacking. It's like the Queen's like
dial in.
And a big red button.
Yeah.
I'm into the mainframe.
What is in the mainframe?
I reckon she just started a MySpace page. That was it. For the royal family. Yeah.
She's on a Bieber page, but now it's just porn.
Yeah.
Royal porn.
Wow. So she was a big fan of technology. Is that, I guess, Robin?
I mean, I don't know. I'd like to think so. I'm sure she was interested. She seems like a woman who was interested in everything, which is great because when you're a monarch, you have to be interested in everything, right? Because you have to go to all these events and talks and things. But I don't know if she was a technophile anyway, a gadget fan. I doubt that she knew what email was.
She had
when they asked her,
a very strong Bitcoin portfolio, though.
I mean,
big fan.
I mean, you say that, but I wouldn't be surprised if the royal family has some kind of investment in cryptocurrency. That seems like an obvious thing that they would do, right?
It's possible, yeah.
Imagine so.
Well, they're going to have financial managers who are going to make decisions, right?
100%.
So
you can imagine someone just coming up to the Queen and just being like, "Mom, this is what is known as the internet," and she goes, "Very smart," or "It's amazing what they can. It's amazing what they can do these days." Something like that. As opposed to actually like showing an interest in the idea of this existing, as opposed to actually knowing anything about it, which is fair enough.
He's just trolling people in the YouTube comment section, saying,
"Oh yeah,
what was that copy pasta of like?" You shut your mouth. My brother was a Marine, and he's with 100 confirmed kills. That's the Queen in a YouTube comment.
Nice.
So,
Spiffing in the comments says that the Queen used a Samsung, which features anti-hacker encryption by MI6.
Wow,
that sounds like a sponsorship partnership there, doesn't it?
It does a bit, doesn't it?
It's a Samsung with encrypted code
with military encryption. Yeah, military grade encryption.
Military grade encryption. Yeah.
Was it the Samsung Galaxy Note 7? That was the spontaneous combustion one, wasn't it? Philip, one's tablet has just caught fire. Oh, really, darling? The damn Korean manufacturer.
Because
he was racist.
Nailed that, Robin. Because
what struck me over the last few days, and I think it's probably struck a lot of people, is just the kind of strange pageantry and kind of like weird traditions of the royal family. And one of these weird traditions that I found out about relatively recently is that every year a politician is taken hostage in the palace. Did you know this? So when the Queen outlines the government's legislative agenda each year, she gives a speech during the opening of Parliament. So she has to go to Parliament to give a speech. But the tradition is that she takes a British member of Parliament hostage every year. They have to just wait at the Buckingham Palace while the Queen is there. And this comes all the way back to Charles I.
That makes sense.
Who had a, let's just say, contentious relationship with Parliament. And he was eventually beheaded in 1649. So this stretches back to there. I guess it's kind of like insurance policy, like.
It makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it's mainly. I don't think anyone in the royal family is expecting to get beheaded when they visit Parliament these days. But
no. Is it always the same? As in, is it like drawn by lots, or do they pick a cabinet minister, for example?
I don't know how they decide it, but I don't think it has to be anyone senior. I think it's just I think they change it every year, but I genuinely don't know how they decide it.
It's such a symbolic gesture that it could literally be anybody. Could be, I mean, that makes sense. And it's funny you mentioned Charles I, because of course now we are living in the reign of
Charles III.
Charles III.
So it was in 2014. Sorry to interrupt. It was a Labour MP called Jim Fitzpatrick who said that he talked about his own experience of being held captive at the palace, and he said that he wasn't really locked up, but they made it quite clear that he wasn't going anywhere.
Right. You're not going anywhere, mate. It's the beauty. They probably go for it. It's actually one of the royal guard dresses up as the Beast from Beauty and the Beast and says, "You're not supposed to be here," and then locks him in power. He
said, the head of the armed forces was there next to him, and he said, "When I expressed my anxiety to the head of the armed forces, he said, if anything were to happen to Her Majesty, Jim, we would have to make it quick. We would have just shot you." And I don't think he was kidding. Wow. Would you? I mean, you wouldn't. I don't know. I'd take the risk just to have a little wander around Buckingham Palace for the afternoon.
Oh yeah, I bet every politician looks forward to that to when it's their turn. I bet they do. Yeah. And it must be quite slim odds actually, because there are nearly 700 MPs now, aren't there? Mm-hmm. No, 600 MPs.
30 something.
So, 630. And there can't be that many. But say if it's one a year, then actually must be a fairly elite club. Even though everybody gets a turn, there must be MPs who've been waiting for decades. When's my turn? Yeah, and it's not quite a fair trade, though, is it? I believe the guards would shoot him because that is the policy, but it's not quite the same as the monarch is dead. This rando backbencher is dead. Not quite the same, is it? Yeah.
It's not eye for an eye, really.
No. And we are all very strong believers at the Just Interesting podcast in an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Yes, absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
We're very, very much in favor of the death penalty for everything.
Well, okay,
for everything.
You've changed tack there. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but I think that's a conversation for another time. But before we get into that, Martin, did you have any other, or Robin, did you have any other interesting facts you'd like to share about the royal family?
Yeah. Well, the Queen takes her role as the head of the Church of England pretty seriously. And so when Prince Charles, of course, Diana died, didn't she? In an accident.
Yeah.
And he went on and, of course, married Camilla Parker Bowles. And because they had basically had their wedding ceremony in like a town hall as opposed to in the church.
Yeah, the Guildhall in Windsor.
Yes. Yeah. Oh well. Yes. Of course. And the Queen did not attend because, as the head of the church, she didn't want to attend this particular ceremony because it wasn't in a church, and she's the head of the Church of England. But she did then attend a blessing in St George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. So the illegal bit was done without the Queen, and then she just came basically for the after party. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know whether would you be disappointed about as Charles and Camilla, or would you understand that actually that's just what one of the the roles of the Queen is as the head of the state and also the head of the church.
I bet that. Yeah. After a lifetime of conditioning of being raised in all the protocols surrounding the monarch, I bet Charles was perfectly understanding.
Do you think she could have gone if she wanted to?
Maybe she did. You're just reading the official version of events. And she was there, in her cloak, pulled over her eyes, kind of like, who's that small person running into the Guildhall?
No one's going to stand in front of the Queen and say, whoa, Mom, sorry, you can't come in here.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
No one's going to.
You're barred. Yeah.
This is awkward, but I'm afraid your name's not on the list. Sorry.
Queen Q.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think also there was something about the fact that because they were both divorced, weren't they? Charles and Camilla. one of the other reasons they couldn't get married inside St. George's Chapel, which is inside the walls of Windsor Castle, is because St. George's Chapel is the kind of old-fashioned place that doesn't allow divorced people to get married.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, nice. That's a really interesting fact, though, Martin.
I mean, what do you, if you don't mind, like steering the conversation in a slightly different direction, and perhaps a heavier direction, where do you two stand on the whole monarchy thing? And now that we've got a new monarch, Charles III, do you think? What do you think? What are your opinions and your views on that? And where do you think it's going to go?
Quite a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, answer it all in one word or less.
I'm like of the opinion I'm not a monarchist in the slightest, and I'm kind of fundamentally opposed to the idea of like a very rich aristocratic family, just having this immense, overwhelming privilege and political influence. Let's be honest, they do.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. But do I care enough about it to really be steadfast against it? Probably not.
Right.
Probably not. I don't care that much. But what I'm interested in is how many people that say they're really into the monarchy were actually just big fans of the Queen. And I wonder how that is going to change once now the reality of the monarchy and the monarchy tradition set in. And they're like, oh no, now we've got a king. I wonder how many people are going to be like, what? I don't want a king. I was fine with the little old Queen. She was lovely. She was so adorable. Now we got a man. We got an old man as a king. What? I'm wondering what the opinion of the monarchy is going to be over the next year.
Yeah, well, the latest survey in 2022, I actually have the statistics in front of me here. Elizabeth had an 82% approval rating. Charles had a 58% approval rating.
Yeah.
Coming after Princess Anne and William and Kate.
I imagine his will slowly actually rise over the next few months.
That's what Camilla says anyway.
Hey, but like people be like, oh, like people that were borderline or like, oh yeah, no, he's doing the Queen a disservice or whatever because of his, dealings with Camilla, will be like, well, we need to back the king. There'll be those diehard royalists that want to back whoever's in power. My sentiments definitely echo yours, Alex, of like, it doesn't really make that much sense right now, especially with, taxpayers' money going towards a family who, let's be honest, in the last few years as well, haven't really shown themselves in their best light. And I know it shouldn't be about the personalities necessarily, but it's like, okay, well, the legal fees, for Prince Andrew were largely known to be paid by the royal family, which isn't great, which is then the taxpayers paying to get Prince Andrew off certain charges. I don't know. It just sits very badly with me. But at the same time, like, do I really care enough? And that's the question, isn't it? Does anyone really care enough? I mean, some people do. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's like I do the pageantry and stuff like that. I think a lot of it is great. Like the history and the pageantry is fantastic. And I do generally disagree with people that are like, well, if you got rid of the royal family, there'd still be all the buildings and the history. It just wouldn't continue. It's like, yeah, but it's a continuing legacy, isn't it? I understand that. And that some of that would be gone if the royal family didn't exist. And I believe that it probably does bring in more interest and tourism into certain areas, particularly, around London and Buckingham Palace. But yeah, as a concept, having a family who have a huge, vast amounts of wealth, and that's taxpayer funded largely, doesn't sit that well. But I think they'll endure. They will endure because there's enough support for them in this country. Robin, you.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm on the same page with you. I'm maybe a bit more strongly Republican and anti-monarchist than the both of you. I say bring back the Stuarts. They came back. Come on, they were unfairly ousted in the 17th century. It's their turn. No, I think we don't need a royal family. I agree with you, Martin, though. I think, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging this. Like, if we were to get rid of the royal family and the institution of the monarchy in Britain, it would change our culture, and we would lose something culturally there. But so much of it is just pomp and circumstance anyway. And the closer you get to it, and I'm lucky enough to know a bunch of people who are fairly involved peripherally with royal institutions, the closer you get, you find out it is just pomp and circumstance. And it's been eroded so much over the centuries as our constitutional monarchy has shifted power more and more to Parliament. This is the right thing to do. It just becomes, you look at it and you're just like, well, why the hell is that a thing? Why do we have to spend that much money on that person to do that one thing once every 5 to 10 years? It's just kind of, what's the point there? And of course, the flip side of that is that you can argue, well, they're technically a voluntary role. This really posh knob who gets picked to do this ceremonial thing gets a fancy outfit which costs £10,000 to £20,000, but they have that outfit for life. And you say, well, that doesn't really cost anything in the grand scheme of things. And actually, I would be completely willing to concede to somebody, monarchist, who argued that the money we spend on the royal family is far less wasteful than the money we spend on our politicians. And the money a lot of our civil service, that's not right, our public services waste through inefficient organization and through semi-privatization. It's a problem that I think whatever we spend on the royal family, which incidentally is about $116 million a year. A lot of that is taxpayer funded. I think about 70% of it is taxpayer funded, something like that, which is a huge chunk, and that money could be better spent elsewhere. But then a lot of that money, as Martin pointed out, actually gets spent on upkeep of buildings. I think in the last fiscal year, I've got the statistics here, they spent a total of £102 million in the last financial year, paying the salaries of 133 people who work for them, and maintenance of the buildings was £63.9 million, £7 million. So nearly £24 million is on salaries of over 1,000 people, nearly 1,200 people. £64 million is just which tourists go to. And then travel expenses is £4.5 million. And then the rest is on. And then apparently, according to Statistica, which I'm not sure this quite makes sense,
what role was it?
The royal family got nearly £50,000 from ticket sales to royal estates. But those royal estates, £50,000. Yeah, but they then go on to say that Windsor Castle had 65 million visitors in the year, and Buckingham Palace had 552,000 in the year. And this is during the pandemic, right? So normally it would be higher. But £50,000 from over 2 million people visiting. I did the maths, and that would be that's something like £30 a ticket. So I think if that's accurate, and I assume it probably is, it's probably because I know that the royal estates are sometimes separate institutions on the same site. So even though like Buckingham Palace is a big building, it's going to have buildings and sections of the palace within it, separate businesses. And so the ticket prices get divided and handed out between the different institutions. So the bit that goes to the royal family will only be £50,000, and the rest goes to these other institutions that are technically separate businesses, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe. Anyway, sorry, this turned into a long-winded and boring statistical answer. I'm with you. I think, don't think anytime soon. I think Elizabeth II's greatest legacy is probably that she rescued the monarchy from itself. They were pretty unpopular when she came to the throne. Not because her dad was unpopular, but because her dad's brother was unpopular for abdicating so he could marry an American divorcee, Wallace Simpson back in the 30s. And then Winston Churchill made Parliament more popular than the monarchy during the Second World War. And America's popularity was at its war period. So everyone was like, democracy is kind of cool. do we need a monarch? And then Elizabeth, I think her greatest legacy is determination, keeping quiet so that nobody could ever think badly of her because she never expressed a bad opinion. It meant that everybody could like her. And she was around long enough that everyone was like, oh, the monarchy's quite stable, whereas all these politicians aren't stable. And I think Charles will benefit from that. And then when Charles passes on the throne, it'll be to William and Kate, who are really popular. So I think we're stuck with the monarchy for at least another 100 years.
Yeah.
Unless anything else comes out about any of the leading monarchs, I guess. If anything bad, comes out about Charles or later down the line, William, who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading an article on. Sorry, Martin.
I was going to say it's a slightly different point. But if anyone was putting a case forward for the monarchy to become it to exist in a country that doesn't have one already, like the approval rating would be like next. It'd be like 0%, 1% maybe. Like, yeah, let's pick a family to give loads and loads of wealth to build a legacy of ruling over a country. Who in their right mind would say, yes, this is a good thing? But then at the same time, it's like there is something to the history and tradition of it that you don't want to just cut that off, even though a lot of the history has actually been tarnished for terrible acts and deeds, especially when it comes to like the empire. At the same time, there is a history there that wouldn't be lost, but it would be stopped. That line of history would be stopped if it was. So it is a complicated question, even if you're someone who's very much against the theoretical idea of a monarchy. When you think about
what my ideal version of the monarchy would be? Genuinely, and I would wonder what people would.
I'm king.
Do you know what my second ideal form of the monarchy would be? And this is, I wonder what people's approval rating would be of the monarchy if it was this. I would fully support if we just make the Queen's corgis the official royal line.
Okay,
that's what I would do. Just have the corgi as king or queen, and then just keep going with that tradition. You'd have way more royal deaths and coronations, but I'd fully support that. Absolutely. I'd be a full monarchist. I'd have corgi posters on my wall. It'd be amazing.
I mean, the serious side of your point is actually that nothing would change. Constitutionally speaking, the corgis would be able to fulfill the exact same duties, except perhaps the king's or queen's speech every Christmas. It might be much shorter, wouldn't it?
It would just be a 5-minute live stream of a corgi just having fun on Christmas Day. How would that not be better? Come on.
Yeah.
No, you can't open your presents until the corgi's barked.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Oh, but then you get those weird traditions as well. Like you can't when you're at a banquet with the king or queen, when they put their cutlery down, you have to put yours down and you can't eat anymore.
Oh yeah.
So everyone's eating their food as quick as possible while the queen
exactly. That'll be a disaster with the corgis. There's no cutlery.
Yeah, true. I mean, they'd be done in an instant, wouldn't they? Yeah. Damn.
That's what I would do. That's what I'd vote for if I was if I had my way with the monarchy.
If you could vote, you could. If you had the power of voting for your monarch.
How far down the line?
I think
until you get to a corgi.
Yeah.
One of the corgis takes the throne. That's what I want to know.
Well, then you find out all the corgis are actually child sex abusers.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness. You said,
I'm speculating.
Dear.
Well, fellas, I think this has been an enlightening discussion about the Queen and the royal family. And it's just generally been, I don't know, a weird week. It's kind of come out of nowhere. I mean, like you said, Martin, it hasn't come out of nowhere, but it kind of feels like it's been a monumental week. We had a new prime minister.
It is a monumental week. Yeah.
New head of state.
Yeah. It doesn't often. It's a weird coincidence. I will say this. I like to think that the Queen deliberately held on long enough to make sure Boris Johnson was no longer prime minister, so that he would not be, grandstanding over her grave during all the pomp and circumstance that is to come during her state funeral. That's
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to think that's the case, even though we'll have Liz Truss instead. But oh,
Yeah,
well.
I mean,
there we go.
it was strange timing in that regard. Yeah, I feel like when this happened, Boris was just so annoyed. He must have been absolutely
I know.
enraged.
Mhm.
The fact
Because
that
he'd be loving it. He'd be loving it.
Well, fellas, before we move on to the first quiz of season 4, which I will be hosting, look at the beautifully fresh board we've got behind us.
Ooh,
the quiz
yeah.
board is
I love
empty.
mine.
Who's going to take the first victory of this season? Well, before we
Weirdly,
find
it's
out,
Alex. Oh.
well, before we find out, shall we discuss some of our favorite comments from? I was going to say the past week, but really, it's like the past few weeks now.
Yes.
Did either of you have any comments that you'd like to raise?
Go ahead, Martin.
I was going to say, I've got one from Lance Trophy. And Lance says, glad I found this channel. Just went back to the old one and saw all the videos had disappeared. Well, Lance, it's been over 2 years. So I'm glad that you managed to find this. That's quite incredible.
Yeah.
You've managed to.
Well
fantastic.
done.
Welcome.
Well done.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And well, I'm
Nice.
glad you're enjoying what you're seeing. But yeah, thank you very much. I just found that really funny. We're like over 2 years.
Yeah.
But well done.
On a kind of similar note, I got a comment from the first ever video we did for Just Interesting, which was our first ever podcast episode. Number 1. Someone found that and commented on that the other day. Dude with a channel said, I grew up watching these conspiracy theories and swear it's why I'm going for my bachelor's in history. Lol, I wanted to know the truth to a lot of stuff. I remember seeing the channel slowly get more censored with YouTube switching their policies. Understandable as to why you had to stop, but ridiculous that some other stuff wouldn't be demonetized. But I'm just very proud that you're attributing your choice of history degree, which is a subject dear to my heart, to the work we did on the channel that should not be named. So thank you, dude with a channel. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's such an impact.
Glad we inspired you. Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what kind of historian he's going to be if he's focusing on the conspiracy angles, but
yeah, I'm a little bit concerned, but we'll find out.
You
what
guys
kind
and
of
Alex
influence
Jones.
have we had? Well, I've got a comment on the Mystery Archives video that me and Martin put out a couple of weeks ago. That was really fun to do on the Mothman.
It was a great
was
video.
good.
If you
I
haven't-
thoroughly enjoyed that, so thank you so much for doing that.
If you haven't seen it already, please do go and give it a watch. It was a bit of a blast from the past. But Liam O'Rourke commented saying, I loved the vid and I always looked forward to the mystery files on the channel that shan't be named. Looking forward to more. Thank you very much, Liam. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird naming connection between the two video strands, but I mean, no, they've got nothing in common apart from that. Nothing at all. They're not similar in any way.
I think I might have frozen again, looking like I'm in deep.
You do look like you're in deep thought, Martin.
You do
that's
look
good.
great.
I might leave that actually. That's quite good.
Yeah. You've been really fortunate with your freeze screens this
I'm just
podcast,
asleep.
Martin.
I'm actually just asleep. anyone listening to this episode, I mean, we might cut this bit out, but I am just on screen here with my eyes closed.
No, half closed. You're kind of like
you're in deep thought.
Deep thought. Yeah.
Okay, we can deal with it.
Definitely. Although there was another comment, Alex, on that same video of Martin and Alex discussing the Mothman. Brilliant video. Genuinely recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Go watch it.
We find the Mothman. So
you find the Mothman. There's another comment. I think it was something on the lines of ASMR with Alex.
Oh yes.
Which I was like,
ASMR with
Alex.
yes. Welcome.
It's another reason to watch that video. Alex and Martin, excellent soothing voices. Nice to hear you two discuss things.
Don't say it like that as if you don't know that you have the best voice among us and not just
It's very kind of you to say.
Possibly in the entire world.
It's not true. Oh my gosh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I do miss the days, and I get someone once said I was the white Morgan Freeman on one of the old videos. I was like, thank you.
Accept it.
Yes.
I'll take it. But then, yeah. But no, that was a great comment because it's true.
It was.
I've got another one. I've got another one in mind for that series, by the way, guys. So I'll pitch it to you after this.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, I think I've mentioned it before, but we can do it.
Well, it may interest you guys to know that we've actually filmed another video of those. So If you are watching this and you're not currently subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get alerted when that one goes live on the channel. Hopefully it should be up in the next week. But yes, on that note, on that note, what note? No.
On.
Do you want to do a quiz?
Yes,
There's
I'd
nothing to do
love
with
to
a
do.
quiz.
Sounds good.
Welcome, fellas, to the first quiz of the season. Can I hear your buzzers? Actually, I'll introduce the quiz. For those of you who don't know, maybe you've never seen a podcast before, this particular podcast in your life, we do a quiz to 10 questions. 10 general knowledge questions will be asked, and the winner of the quiz gets a little notch on the quiz leaderboard, and at the end of the season, the leader in the points will win the podcast cup, which of course is a beautiful travel mug with Orson Welles' face, glorious
All
face
over it.
printed on it. I
But
would show
much
you,
like
but,
the crown jewels, this trophy does not leave its safe house in Martin's cupboard or car. Actually, Martin's car.
It was in the car. It was in the car.
You win it in name only.
I might return it to the car, actually. It was safe there for quite some time.
it wasn't safe. You said that the sun warped it. It's broken
It was
now,
incredibly safe in the sun in the car. Okay.
Oh.
I do need to clean the car, so I might take it out for the cleaning. You know, you'd like to clean the cabinet, the trophy for the crown jewels. I might do the same. I might take it out, keep it safe, put it in a temporary storage solution, and then return it to its rightful place in the car. Yeah,
The car is not its
I think I'll do
rightful
that.
place, Martin. The car, it doesn't belong in the car. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to get angry.
the car
Fine.
it's what Orson would have wanted. Orson would have wanted to be in the car. Ah, the car is excellent.
Oh, the car.
I can't drive because I'm
That's great.
5 bottles of champagne down.
Right. Before we start the quiz, I need to hear your buzzers.
What?
Yeah, my buzzers.
Robin, do you have your buzzer ready at hand? Let's hear
I
it.
do. Hopefully, yeah, you might recognize it now. Hello.
Thinking about this. This time that Vincent Price played on the '60s show Egghead. Yeah, I think I want to have a go at Egghead. I think I can make it absolutely terrifying.
So, yeah, could you hear that all right?
Egghead. Yeah, it was a tiny bit broken, but it was
Oh,
a
okay.
little bit
That was-
louder maybe. But you want
Little bit
it
louder.
to be as clear as possible, obviously.
I do. I want my head to be as clear as possible, so I can
that
beat
was
Martin's.
Nicolas Cage, was it?
It was Nicolas Cage. He wants to be Egghead in the next Batman film. Of course he does.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
Martin, can I hear your buzzer, please,
Sure.
and thank you.
Delia.
That's Delia. Again, it's a bit broken, but yes.
She is a bit broken. She was very drunk when she recorded.
The Powells are doing it live.
I am a bit worried with the freeze frame as well, Martin, that I might not even hear the intention of
okay,
you,
well,
you doing that. So
okay,
you may want to leave and rejoin.
Alex
but
is just getting out his excuses for rigging it against you, Martin, early. Don't believe him.
It's okay.
Don't believe him.
It's okay. He's not here. He can't hear. But yeah, I've absolutely rigged this one in favor of you, Robin. Don't tell him. But for those of you listening, be sure to take part in the quiz as well if you want. The first 3 people that guess the answer in the comments get a point, and I will be rewarding points generously. But yes, so get your guesses in the comments. And also, I've got some new additions this season, because I feel like we've had it before where the guesses take too long. Some people buzz in. I'm not naming any names, but someone might buzz in not knowing the answer, and then they sit there and think about it for a while. So
Wait a minute. That's
so
not Martin or me.
That's you.
That sounds like I don't know. I wouldn't name names. But anyway, I've got a little sound
Don't know
effect for when things are getting a bit too slow. Here you go.
Okay. Oh no,
Oh.
that's just stressful.
Well, that's like
gonna-
saw. So some kind of saw shit going on.
You gotta bring my palpitations on. That's horrible.
So if you take
Oh.
if you take too long, I'm throwing in the countdown clock. Okay.
How long is too long?
Okay.
I don't know.
It's just some arbitrary.
Just an
Alex
arbitrary
is just gonna.
how I'm feeling.
I see. Well, the mercy.
Okay.
This is what is this? A monarchy? Ridiculous.
Or Paxman, maybe.
There's no Corgi crown here.
Come on.
Okay, question
Very good.
number 1.
Okay.
If you were to describe a color as sanguine, what color would it be?
That Vincent Price played on the 60s show Egghead.
I heard them both, but I think I heard Robin first, Martin. Very sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, sanguine is to do with blood, isn't it? So I'm guessing red.
It would be correct. Yes, red.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Phew.
Yes.
I
And
see.
plenty of people in the comments predictably got that one. Rocket Summer was first in there with red. Recu97 said orange, but guessed first. So you're kind of along the right, like kind of very close. But it is different, isn't it?
Really?
It's different.
That's wrong.
Jim Dorr also guessed red, was the second person to guess right, and Brian Jenkins was the third person to guess red. So well done, the three of
Brian.
you.
Welcome, Brian. Oh, it's been a while.
Welcome, Brian. Question number 2.
Okay.
Yep.
Come on, Delia. Come on.
Getting to Know You is one of the best known songs from which musical?
Yeah, I think I want to have a go at Egghead.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I can't tell if Robin's is first or if it's just drowning out Martin's buzzer. So maybe you need to balance your buzzers.
Robin's was first that time,
Oh,
definitely.
okay.
You sure?
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it, Robin.
That's from, I believe, one of my favorite musicals of all time, which would be The King and I.
The King and I. Well done.
I didn't know that. I just buzzed in.
Bit of a royal theme.
Nice,
I see
like
what
it.
you did. Yeah.
Oh, also, I should have been using this as well. Well done, Robin. You get a point.
Ooh, it's like a little sound effect. Is there a sound effect for getting it wrong?
There is. Yeah, we'll get to that when it comes to it.
Yeah.
Get to that when it's my turn.
Okay. Question number 3. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have said if anyone got it. Ethan Walker in the comments said The King and I. Well done, Ethan Walker. Well done.
Nice. Not a straightforward one. That. That's,
No, I
knowledge.
wouldn't have guessed that one. Question number 3. A niblick is an old-fashioned name for what type of golf club?
Niblick.
Wait a minute, what?
Come on. Yes, Martin.
It's a putter.
That is incorrect.
Really?
It is not a
Oh.
putter, I'm afraid.
I should probably know this, shouldn't I?
Well,
no,
Are you
I'll let you have a go.
Are you buzzing, Robin?
yes, I am. I'm not going to lie. I don't understand the question.
You want me
But-
to repeat it?
No, that's not going to help. I believe the only type of guess that I could make would be a driver.
It is incorrect, I'm afraid. Oh, God. I'm
Well,
playing it too much.
It's stuck on repeat now.
Double negative, yeah.
I don't understand what.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on,
I've got
Martin.
a few other options. Could it be an iron?
It is
Oh,
incorrect.
that's wrong too.
I'll just keep on going through.
Yeah, this is all yours, Martin. I don't know other types of golf.
Wait.
Could it be-
Robin, you don't not have another guess?
I don't know what
So
to. Okay.
Well, I mean,
No. I honestly don't know the names of anything else. so-
Niblick. It sounds like you're taking. Okay, I've got one with something else in mind.
my
You go for it,
clue
go for it.
involved. I'll give you one more guess, Martin, but because I can't really give you a clue because it involved the other ones you've guessed already.
Niblick.
Okay.
A niblick. So you're trying to. I'm just going to niblick this out of the sand. So it's a wedge, a sand wedge.
It is. It's a wedge.
Well, okay.
Well done, Martin. Got there
Niblick.
eventually.
That's good. I'll test.
Okay, so
I'll
is that
test.
all the different
bring that one up.
types? Is that the different types?
We've
I
got
mean,
drivers,
Driver and a putter. Is that
drivers, woods, irons, hybrids nowadays,
irons?
putters,
Hybrids. Oh my gosh.
wedges. So different types of wedges. You got a wedge, you got a lob wedge, you got a sand wedge, you got a gap wedge.
It's
Lots of different
ridiculous.
So
That's
I
ridiculous.
don't know if is sand wedge different.
It's a type of wedge. It's one
I'm
of the
just
types.
saying sandwich. You're just saying sandwich.
So a pitch, it's about the angles of them. So a sand wedge is quite like shallow, whereas a
Right,
pitching wedge
okay.
is slightly further up like this.
Well,
What would you use the pitch?
Brian Jenkins said sand wedge in the chat. Rocket Summer said wedge. So I'm going to give Rocket Summer the main point there. Angelos87 also said S or sand wedge. And yeah, I think that was it in the chat. Yeah.
All right then.
Well done. 2-1 to you, Robin, as we move on to question number 4.
Oh, he's going to overtake. He's going to overtake.
Okay. Question number 4. Guernica is one of which artist's most famous paintings and current...
Egghead. So let them know.
Oh, I mean... the problem is, Martin, and you need to
I think
sort
that
this
may
for
have been
next
Martin.
week, is your
think that was
buzzer's not
Martin.
like kind of coming through. It's an issue
I
with your
think that
microphone.
was Martin, though.
But I'll give it... Robin's keen that it's you, so I'll give it to you. I'll chuck it your way. Go
You
for
sure?
it. Yeah, go
You
for
sure?
it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard Delia before I hit my button.
Now there's a song called Guernica. Is it Picasso?
It is Picasso. Yes, well done. Well
Nice.
done. And I'll play the buzzer.
Hey.
Go on. Yeah, there
Thank you. I
go.
was going to say, it's not
Whoa.
official now. It's not official till you pinged. Yeah.
Well done, Martin. It was Pablo Cabasso.
Pablo Cabasso.
Spot on.
Pablo Cabasso. Yeah, no, it was Pablo
And
Picasso.
his painting
Of course it was.
Nergica.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's currently is exhibited in a museum in Madrid, I think. Are you a fan of Picasso, Martin?
Mate, absolutely huge fan. I've got loads of his work stolen in my house.
Lovely, nice, very nice.
Mm.
In the chat,
My-
a bunch of people got that. Sorry. Very
Nice.
well.
Very good.
I was just going to indulge myself and say that my dad, his art teacher at school, was Pablo Picasso's roommate
Really?
when they were studying art. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he did. That was how
Not
he
at the time.
That was how he got
Not
the
at the
job.
time.
He doesn't know art or anything, but he just happened to live with him.
Yeah. No, they were studying art together. Yeah.
What are your qualifications? I live with
Six-
Pablo. Why do I keep saying Pablo
Pablo
Picasso?
Cabasso. Yeah.
I live with Pablo Picasso.
Yeah.
But in the chat, Brian Jenkins was first in there with Picasso. Rocket Summer right behind him with Picasso. Funky Monkey with Dr. Seuss, not quite, I'm afraid. And Jim Dore. It's the usual suspects saying Picasso. Well done, the three of you.
Yeah.
Why is it whenever I look at the chat, it's always you three up to no good? Brian, Rocket Summer, and Jim Dore absolutely running away with this
Oh,
quiz.
dear.
Okay, question number 5, and it's 2-all.
Ooh. 2-all.
Close.
Okay, question number 5. I hope you guys have been watching your TV.
No.
Not really, no.
No.
Cancel the license.
Oh, okay.
That's
DS Steve Arnott is one of the principal
Oh, yes.
characters of which long-running police drama?
No idea.
Yeah.
Yes, Martin.
Did you hear it? That's Line of Duty.
Line of Duty. Is that correct? Show me Line of Duty. Yes, it is. Of course
Ah,
it is.
nice.
Well done. I haven't seen Line of Duty. I've heard mixed things about
You
the
haven't seen
ending.
it? You haven't seen any of it?
I haven't seen any of it.
Oh,
No, me
okay.
neither, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I've
Yeah,
heard
let's
it.
get,
I've heard it's very good, but I've heard mixed things about its ending.
the ending was fairly low key. That's the thing. People always want like the biggest, most spectacular twist, don't they? Everyone wants a twist at the end of a long running
Right.
show, and it wasn't like a huge twist.
Right.
Okay.
So there's a lot of build up in it. It's like okay, but I like that. I don't think it has to be like a crazy mad ending to everything.
Yeah, sure.
Was it as good as Saw, the final chapter?
I haven't seen that one. The ending of the first Saw is great.
It
It's
is.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I've seen number 2 and 3. I think past 3. I don't think I've seen the others.
Oh, that's when they start getting good, Martin.
I haven't watched.
Somehow doubt that.
I haven't watched a single Saw film, but I have seen Better Call Saul, which had a
Hey.
fantastic ending, and also, it was quite
Okay.
low key, I guess. But I'm not going to give any spoilers for anyone who hasn't
No.
already seen.
And
it.
that's impressive because that's a prequel, isn't it? So
Mm.
in theory, how that ends, right?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it catches up with present time, I guess. and that's not a spoiler. That happens immediately if you start watching it. They kind of flits between
okay.
where he is today and back in time.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, irrelevant. Question number 6 as we move on in the quiz, and it's 3-2 to Martin.
Oh no.
Oh, I like this question. Okay. According to the proverb, he is a fool who makes his what his heir. He is a fool who makes his what his heir. I'm looking for the what in that proverb. He is a fool who makes his blank his heir.
I don't know this one.
He's a fool who makes his...
It's not going to be the obvious.
No, it's not going to be his son, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Martin.
He is a fool who makes his pride his heir.
Oh, it's a nice guess. Is it correct?
No, of course not.
I'm afraid.
What did he say? I missed that.
I said pride.
Pride.
It doesn't really make sense, but then well, proverbs rarely do.
Is this some kind of pun like his comb? Yeah.
If you feel free to have a guess, and then I can give you a little clue if you want.
He's a fool.
I'm not going to guess comb, but I'm tempted to say okay.
Go for it, Robin.
It's not going to be. It's not son. It's not what Martin just said, which was I've forgotten already. Pride. That's a good one. Fool who makes his wife.
Oh my god!
I'm thinking it's an old sexist proverb. I want it to be wife.
It should shock no one to learn that was incorrect.
It makes sense.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it's incorrect. Just for the record.
Oh, dear.
Okay, my clue is essentially
an animal.
My clue is that this makes sense. It's not some random proverb that it's going to be some abstract thing. It makes sense. And think of this more like a riddle. It's quite amusing. And genuinely, like, who was the last person that you would put as your heir? You know, that would be a bit...
Okay.
Who would have the most to gain from that? And I will say as well that some people in the comments do have guessed correctly. I think 2 people have guessed this correctly so far.
He's a fool who makes his something his heir.
Wait, so the clue, you said the clue. The clue was...
Just think about it, was my clue.
Okay, great.
Don't be stupid. show some cleverness.
Right, thanks. Fantastic.
My clue is it makes sense. It's not some abstract proverb. It's
it's actually quite useful advice.
Is it? It's more like amusing. It's like a riddle. It's
yeah. Okay.
He is a fool who makes
more like a riddle. Oh, it's 2 riddles in one episode. What? I know with this season 4. It's mad. He is a fool who makes. Oh no! Okay.
Go for it, Robin.
I've done exactly what you said. The tick was meant to avoid. I've buzzed in because I need to buzz. He is a fool who makes. Oh, wait a second. Fool who makes his. Wait a second. No. Well, he's a fool who his doctor is heir.
It's his doctor. Yes,
nice one.
I was going to say lawyer, and I thought, wait a second.
Yeah,
doctor makes sense because
makes his
doctor doesn't kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Of
That's
course.
Actually, yeah.
Nice.
Well done. Done.
Thank you, but I deserve no credit for that. That was purely the pressure of the ticking clock making me panic.
Hey, that's fine. That's a benefit of the ticking clock, I guess.
What's he going to do anyway? What am I talking to? I'm not going to do anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's not advice, is it?
I'm not going to do it.
I mean, it's kind of yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. Okay.
So well done in the chat to Ethan Walker. Ethan Walker, Rocket Summer, and Brian Jenkins.
Lost it.
Guest doctor in
Oh,
the chat.
you clever bunch.
Well done.
Clever
Well
bunch.
done. Oh.
Is that because, would you please tell me the answer when they do comment? Was that because you already knew it, or did you guess correctly, as in work it out? I'd like to know. I'm curious.
There are too many riddles in this quiz.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
up for like 14 nights in a row.
Yeah.
Have either of you got the answer from the quiz, from the riddle I gave at the start, by the way? Have either of you
Yes,
thought
I
of
think
it?
so. Yeah, I think
what,
I've got it.
what was? Do
you want me to repeat it?
I tell you. Yeah. Say again. Yeah.
Oh, there's always one, isn't there? Okay, so this was the gentle reminder of the riddle at the start of this quiz. What occurs once in a minute, twice in a moment, and never in 1,000 years?
Once in a minute, twice in a moment.
I'll let you ponder
Okay, I'll
that
think about it.
as we
Okay,
move
yeah.
on to question number 7, and it is 3-all.
Question number 7. Oh, fantastic.
Okay, question number 7. In
I
cricket,
think I've got it. I think I've got it.
Okay. In cricket,
It's
what?
quite easy.
You done now, Robin?
What?
You done?
What's
Answer.
with all these sports questions? What's all these?
Well, there's only 2.
That's 2 out of
You should have
Done.
known what a Knickerbockers or whatever it was called.
Nickelback. Isn't it? Nickelback.
Guys, I'm never
Sorry.
ever going to be able to
Please
answer
continue.
this question.
You don't have to. We're answering it.
Oh my god! Do you know what? I'm going to start subtracting points any second now.
That was a riddle. You've been Gollum.
In cricket, what is a wicket maiden?
What? A wicked maiden.
Yes, Martin, I can hear Delia's faint, distant sounds.
A wicket maiden is an over in which you take a wicket for no runs. So no runs are scored against you as a bowler, but you take a wicket.
I think that's correct. The answer I've got is the taking of a
What do you-
wicket in an over where no runs are scored. So yeah, I'll give you that one. You can have a little. Yep, there you go.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
There you go.
Well done. But also, that wasn't. None of the things you just said were sentences.
Yeah, they were.
Those were words stuck together, and I contend the legitimacy.
I
of
get the
this
feeling,
quiz.
Alex, that you didn't know really what that one was either.
I put a lot of faith in Google for that one, that they hadn't just made up some words. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
I understand the words.
What is it?
Don't understand their meaning in this sentence. But,
So, maiden,
what-
so in cricket, you bowl an over, which is 6 balls.
I didn't
if
ask
no
for an
one's- if you-
explanation, to be honest. Like,
I'd like to know actually.
If no runs are scored, that's called a maiden over. If you also take a wicket, it's called a wicket maiden.
Wait, why'd you take a wicket? What's that?
That's when you get someone out.
I'd greatly encourage us not to pursue
Wait,
this topic.
So a wicket maiden is when you get someone out by hitting the wicket.
Yeah, whatever. Or you catch, they can be caught, they can be bowled.
When there's
they can
been
be
no
whatever.
runs.
No runs
And
are
no
scored in
runs
that
have been
over.
scored in 6 throws of the ball.
In 6 throws of the ball, yeah. Called a wicket maiden. 6 balls.
I mean,
no
now that
runs,
you've explained it, I
wickets
understand
taken.
it.
Yeah.
It sounds, it's still complicated. Why can't I just use these real words?
Spiffing in the chat says, Alex, fancy playing your guitar to pass the time? Play a bit of ukulele in the background,
Yeah,
yeah?
guitar.
Why not?
A gentle way of telling us we're taking too long.
Yes, come on. No one wants to hear about cricket maidens. I know it was my question, but I thought we'd be through it by now. You got the point for that, Martin. Well done. As we move on to question number 8. Okay. Jan Martel won the Booker Prize for fiction with which novel?
Wait a minute, I know the name. Jan Martel.
Oh, Martin's going for it.
Jan Martel, was that Life of Pi?
Was it Life of Pi? It was
Yeah.
Life of Pi. Well done, Martin.
Knowledge. Good
You know what?
knowledge.
I just want to say, I found all of these questions very difficult. I would be doing terribly in this quiz if it was me. So I'm very impressed with both of you. But there's been no dropped answers. Well done. Straight in there, Martin.
That was really
Nice.
good. Yeah.
Bravo.
Well,
Never read it.
Can either of you tell me, because obviously it was turned into a very successful film, how many Oscars did Life of Pi win?
I don't think it won one for visuals, or did it even win? Visual effects. I'm going to 1. I think it just won 1.
Any
Can't remember now.
further guesses, Robin?
I'd like to go high and say one more than that, but he's got a point. I feel like it did win Best Picture. So I'm going to go for 3.
It actually won 4 Oscars, but I don't think
Really?
Best Picture was one of them.
Right, okay.
Visual effects will it be definitely?
Definitely visual effects, yeah.
It definitely
Maybe
did
adapted
win.
screenplay.
It won visual effects because I think it was the visual effects company that went up, complained about the fact they'd all just been made redundant or let go.
Rhythm and Hughes, yeah, that was right. They'd just gone bust,
Jeez.
yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. But in the chat, a bunch of people got that. Ethan Walker straight in there with Life of Pi. Jim Dore, Life of Pi. Funky Monkey,
Nice.
Avatar. No, unfortunately not. And Rocket Summer, Life of Pi. Again, it's the same rhythm of this quiz. It's nice. Very nice. Okay, so Martin, coming back from losing, you're now 5-3 ahead.
Knew he would. 5-3. Oh man, he's got it. He's got it in the bag.
Well, Robin, you can still bring it back. You can still bring it back.
I think it's unlikely.
Question number 9. Ganymede is the largest moon of which planet? I can hear Martin.
Yeah.
Ganymede. Oh God. Jupiter.
Is it Jupiter? It is Jupiter. It is Jupiter. Well done, Martin.
Well done. Well done.
On a quiz well earned. You've won the first quiz of the season. How does it feel?
Well
How does
done,
it feel?
sir. Well done.
Oh, do I come and give a speech? Do I?
I didn't ask for that. Didn't ask for that.
Well, you asked me how I felt.
How do you feel?
That's usually is incredibly bad.
Why?
Incredibly bad.
Oh, don't feel bad. You've earned it. It was a good win. Good victory.
Oh, thank you. No, it was good. Good.
Yeah.
The quiz isn't over yet. Still got a few questions left. You could be like,
We've got one question left.
Surprise present from the closet. 5 points for this one.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done that this week.
That was one of those rare moments where Martin says the answer that I was going to give, and I'm suddenly hoping that I was wrong.
Yeah. It was the obvious one, I think.
It was probably the obvious one. Yeah. I don't know. It's got the most moons, hasn't it? So actually, has it?
I suppose, yeah. Statistically,
I don't know.
Good question.
But yes, well done, Martin. Congratulations. And
congratulations, sir.
In the chat, we have several people that got that answer. Ethan Walker was straight in there with Jupiter. Recu97 got Jupiter as well. Well done. And Brian Jenkins got Jupiter. Well done, the 3 of you.
Jenkins.
Final question of the quiz. Robin, you can regain some ground here.
Maybe.
Question number 10. What is the collective noun for grass?
Well, what? It's grass. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
When do you call grass anything but grass?
Collective noun for grass.
Vincent Price played on the 60s.
Yes, Robin.
Field? Is it field?
Is it field? It is not field,
Well,
I'm afraid.
That's a shocker.
Is it grass?
Is it grass?
That'd be right.
That is incorrect as well.
I would be so annoyed if that was the correct answer.
I'll give you a quick clue. It's
Okay.
I believe it's the same for hair as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Was it like strands? Strand? That makes sense.
Is it a strand? It is not. I'm afraid.
See, this is a puzzling question because you get a blade of grass. So the singular is blade. So surely the plural is grass, right?
I will
This is what I'm
say
confused by.
a bunch of people in the comments have got this. You've been thoroughly outplayed by many people.
Wait a second.
Oh,
You just said a bunch. Is that no?
Bunch of hair. Bunch of grass.
I mean, look, I'll give you a clue. That's
a head of hair.
Similar. A bunch, not a bunch, but
collection,
A,
a group,
a,
a
It's pretty strong. That's probably going to
What?
confuse you more.
Right,
Yeah, it's
so
it's really well hard. You know, it's a
what is going on?
it's a tough.
Oh,
So, egghead. Yeah, I think I want to.
Go on then, Robin.
I mean, I'm not sure I deserve it because you just basically said it. That was a tuft. Yeah, a tuft.
It's a tuft
You-
of
I grab-
hair.
yeah,
a
tuft,
of
yeah.
grass. Yes.
I don't
grass.
deserve-
I didn't know that one. I didn't know that one. That's I learned something new today, definitely.
That's a really. Oh, I'm so annoyed. I didn't think about that. But I don't deserve that point. You literally said it, so I don't
A
think.
tough.
A tuft.
Yeah.
Why-
A tuft.
I thought I'd pushed you further away with the strong clue.
Yeah, what was that?
well,
tough,
tough,
strong.
tough.
Okay, right. I see.
Yeah,
okay,
no, that was
yeah.
just very confusing.
No, that was very confusing.
I'm sorry.
And then you
That was
well,
awful.
I'm like, what are we talking about here? Are we still talking about grass, or have we gone on to something else?
There are some interesting
Winking at the same time.
there are some interesting answers in the comments. There's Jim Dore said patch, which is actually a very good guess. Well done.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Brian Jenkins
Wrong.
said
turf.
Brian Jenkins said blades.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yep.
G Beer said weeds. And the first person to get it was, of course, the person that has been running away with this quiz. It was Ethan Walker, tuft of grass.
Hey.
Well done, Ethan.
Well done, Ethan.
Colin Reed also got tuft, and Jim Dore, yes, tuft as well. So well done.
Well done.
Well done
Very
to the
nice.
three of you.
Very well done. Yeah.
Well,
Wonderful.
Well, thank you for a great quiz, Alex. That was that was something. Yeah.
It was good.
that was something. That was
He's fuming.
it was all right.
No, my brain is challenging. That's what it was. My brain struggled with that. That was. I'm impressed, Martin.
That's
Well
good,
deserved
is it?
victory. That was impressive. That was good.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very kind. Very
Well
gracious.
done, Martin. You've got your first point on the board. Would
Oh,
you like a
yeah.
bonus question?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is closest wins.
Yay.
How old is Mickey Mouse? Closest wins.
Ooh.
And I'm not talking about the character's, age, like boss.
Like in universe.
in
you
universe
mean?
age.
Yeah.
I'm talking about how long has the character been around for?
Interesting.
Closest wins.
No, where is he? You're 20? 90, 97. 97. Yeah, why not? 96. 96. Same age as the Queen.
That's a good one. I'm going to. Well, I think Martin's probably right, so I'll go for 99.
Martin is closest. You're very close, but you're slightly off. He's 93. 93.
right,
and his
okay.
birthday's November 18th. There you go. Nearly 94. That's it. Got nothing. I've got no other additional facts about Mickey Mouse right there. So
Okay.
there you go. Well done. In the
Nice.
chat, who was the closest? Ethan Walker said 95. Very close.
Ooh, so close.
And I think he was the closest. So well done, Ethan Walker. Oh,
Ooh.
absolutely smashed it this quiz. Well done. And thank you both of you for joining me in this week's quiz and this week's podcast episode. It's been a lovely,
It was wonderful.
lovely return to the podcast. After
Yeah,
so
it's nice to be
long away.
back. Love to spend time with you. There is one outstanding thing, though.
Is there? Oh, yes, of course.
dear.
Yes. The answer to the riddle. And Robin, you seem very confident. So I'm going to ask Martin,
Oh, okay. Oh, goodness.
what's
okay.
the answer to the riddle? Which, just as a reminder to
Yes,
everyone,
yeah.
what occurs once in a minute, twice in a
Mhm.
moment, and never in 1,000 years? Martin?
I believe that it is the letter M.
That is correct. It is the letter M. And many people in the chat got that as
Well
well.
done.
So well done to
Well
you
done.
all. And be sure to tune in next week. Same time, Monday. Well, I mean, we were a bit late today. But Monday, 9 p.m. BST-ish will be live. So if you're watching this or listening to us rather on a podcast platform of your choice, be sure to head over to Just Interesting on YouTube and check us out there. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can catch us live next week. And if you're not sick of us at this point in time, why not consider becoming one of our amazing Patreon supporters, where you'll get access to a huge backlog of Patreon exclusive episodes, as well as access to our Discord server, which is full of just interesting people.
It is indeed.
Thank you so much to all of our existing Patreon supporters. You are really the lifeblood of this channel, keeping it going. So thank you. We can't tell you how much we appreciate your support.
Same goes to our YouTube members as well.
And to our YouTube members, obviously. Yes, that is in the very same vein. That is extended to you as well. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up this episode, fellas?
Just thank you.
God save the king. God save the king.
Excellent.
Why, it's Christmas Day. No, that's it.
That's how you want to end? Okay. See you later, everyone.
Bye for now, and thank you so much. See you next time.
Bye-bye.